Before we start our video, we want to state that we do not condone violence against any animals. This video is based off history and does not promote harm to any living creatures. Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel of Conscious History, where we will unveil the hidden truths of the past. Imagine you're a Roman soldier. Since you were young, you have dreamed about fighting in the Roman army. You have been trained for battle and your mind has been pushed for being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Then it is time. You put on your military gear, you start marching with your fellow soldiers who you see as your brothers. Then, suddenly, you feel it. The ground beneath you starts to tremble. You look at your fellow soldiers, looking for an answer, but nobody seems to be having a clue what is going on. The rumbling sounds starts to intensify, with strange horn-like sounds. This sound is worse than any charging cavalry sounds you've ever heard in your life. Your mind starts racing, your heart rate starts to quicken, you feel spikes of adrenaline running through your body. What on earth am I going to witness? What is coming for me on the other side of the battlefield? Then you see it. These must have been the thoughts of a Roman soldier who saw the war machine Titans from the Carthaginians for the very first time. Yes, in this video we're going to look at Hannibal's rumbling Titans, his war elephants. How they struck fear in the hearts of not just the Roman army, but of the entire population. In this video we will show you why the war elephants suited Hannibal perfectly, and why Hannibal could be seen as a visual representation of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Since he was a man that lived and breathed war. Since it was not a choice, but his destiny. If you like elephants, like and subscribe to our channel, and let's start the rumbling, where the earth awakens when the Titans advance. When we start our story, we go to a principle from the art of war. Knowing yourself and your enemy, understand your strength and your weaknesses, and those of your enemy. When it came to the hatred of the Roman army, it was founded in Hannibal's bloodline. Hannibal's father was Hannibal Barca, a Carthaginian general who spent his entire life fighting against the Roman Republic. He taught his children, including Hannibal, a deep-rooted vendetta towards the Roman Republic, to rise and take revenge from the defeat of the First Punic War, to reclaim Carthage honor and win future wars with any means necessary. General Hamilcar died during a military campaign in Spain, but it was the hatred towards Rome that he taught his kids that transcended generations. The Carthaginian soldiers were just like the Spartans, made for war, with generations of soldiers who were a fundamental pillar of Carthaginian society. The one thing that made the Carthaginian army famous were of course the war elephants. When the Carthaginian dominance was at its peak, they controlled a large empire. For this reason, they had several elephants. The first were elephants coming from Asia. In Asia, elephants were already used as a weapon in battle. The second was smaller forest African elephants, who were used as a cavalry force. The third and last type of elephant were the bigger African elephants, who were used to build towers on their back and place archers or spear throwers inside. They trained elephants to be ready for battle. A war elephant was usually covered with armored gear from metal plates, and sometimes they placed sharp metal on their tusks, so it would be more effective in battle. And the elephant, because of its armor, would be protected from enemy bows and spears. One person was responsible for driving the elephant in battle. If you would think of people in the army nowadays, there is someone being responsible for driving a tank. During that time, there always was one person responsible for driving one elephant. During battle times, the Carthaginian army had huge stables where they could house train and care up to 350 elephants, ensuring these colossal beasts were prepared and maintained for battle. In battle, they would sometimes charge with their elephants instead of their cavalry. Different sizes of elephants, armed in battle gear, would come charging to the enemy. If you were lucky and dodged the rain of arrows, you would still have the risk of being crushed by the colossal feet of the elephant titans stampeding across the battlefield. Because of their metal tusks, soldiers were flung on the battlefield from left to right. In some Carthaginian battles, over 100 elephants were used in different positions. Imagine seeing 100 elephants charging towards you. Or, when you finally survive the cavalry charges and think things can't go worse, imagine seeing a surprise elephant attack from the flanks storming into you. These titans produced a battle cry that caused fear into the hearts of their enemies. When Hannibal was 26, he became the leader of the Carthaginian army. 26 years of pure hatred towards the Roman Republic, ready for war, which is why he was the perfect military leader during the Second Punic War. He did the unthinkable, crossing the Alps with his war elephants and attacking the Roman Empire on their own lands. At the Battle of Cannae, Hannibal showed he'd known his enemy, killing 80% of the Roman army. He knew the enemy and struck fear in their minds. Not just soldiers, but also civilians, feared thinking about the name Hannibal and his war elephants. Hannibal was so successful in warfare that the Fabian strategy was followed in the Roman Republic. This meant acknowledging Hannibal's superior Carthaginian forces and therefore avoiding direct confrontations as much as possible, disrupting Hannibal's supply lines so they wouldn't battle him but starve him to death. A father taught his sons his hatred towards their shared enemy. Hannibal was in the Roman Empire, in enemy territory. Because of power struggles in the Carthaginian government and the Fabian strategy was followed by the Romans, Hannibal's supply system was lacking, and therefore his army was weakening. His brothers, raised by the same beliefs, tried to aid him on several occasions, but unfortunately they died during battle in an attempt to reach him. Hannibal's anger and war-driven mindset never ended. When the Romans invaded Carthage, Hannibal was forced to return. In the final battle of Zama, where Hannibal's army was affected because of his starvation, we saw several of his war titans in action one last time, crushing the Romans, sweeping them all over the battlefield, and pouring fear in their hearts when they felt the ground shaking and the rumbling sounds coming for them. Because of the affected army, Hannibal lost the battle. The Romans won the Second Punic War, and a treaty was signed where Carthage had to give up a majority of their empire, and war elephants became forbidden. Hannibal's name was widespread. If you only mentioned elephants or the name Hannibal, it sparked fear in most Roman people's eyes. This is a legacy he dedicated to his father and brothers. After the Battle of Zama, he fled, and even though he became a chief magistrate in Carthage, power struggles and his mindset for war and not accepting defeat made him to be exiled. What did a man with a mind full of war and hatred towards the Romans do? He became a military advisor for other empires who were fighting the Romans. One last example will show you the genius war mind of Hannibal. When Hannibal was fighting the Pergamon navy, which was then led by King Eumenes II, he advised the military who were fighting to hurt the navy in a way his father taught him, by any means necessary. Pots filled with venomous snakes and other creatures were fired by catapults on the decks of the ships during the naval battle. This unusual method caused panic and chaos, and even though Hannibal's forces were outnumbered beforehand, This resulted in Hannibal dominating the battle. During the final years of his life, in his 60s, the Romans were still searching for the one man that nearly destroyed the empire. Hannibal knew he was being searched for, and by hearing rumors that there might be an extradition, he looked back on his life one last time. He thought about his life, his upbringing by his father and brothers and their shared hatred for the Roman Empire. He thought of the battles he fought, his war elephants crushing his enemies, and the fact that nobody wanted to face him on their beloved land. He thought of the mental warfare and the fact that he placed fear in the hearts of his enemies. When he didn't find a way, he made one, and his beliefs made him victorious. Hannibal would be a warrior that would fight until the very end. He would rather die than being delivered into the Roman hands he had hated his entire life. It is rumored that Hannibal carried with him a ring containing poison. This poisoning was a testament to his refusal to be captured by his enemies. He fought his whole life and would end his life fighting. This is what his father taught him, and therefore Hannibal was a visual example of an art of war. Did you know that there were several sized elephants used in battle? What did you think of Hannibal's hatred towards the Roman Republic, and the fact that there were battles where the Carthaginians used over 100 elephants? Leave me your answers below in the comments, and if you like our content, like and subscribe to our channel, or comment with the elephant emoji and activate the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you once we upload a new video. We love making in-depth history videos. See you next time at Conscious History.